We're about to take our previous rune farming method and turn it up to 11. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to get a talisman that boosts your rune farming capabilities by 20% and how to craft the gold-footed fowl feet to be able to boost your rune farming capabilities even further, and then we'll tie that in with the best farming method currently available in Elden Ring. Now, the first thing we need to do is show you how to unlock a secret NPC that's going to allow you to buy the recipe for the gold-footed fowl feet. Now, for those of you that don't know, the gold pickled fowl foot allow you to have increased rune acquisition for about 3 minutes. Now, to do this, we're going to need to head to Murkwater Cave. If you've never been here before, you can start from the Agil Lake North and you can run down the road, and then right here you're able to run into the lake. Then you're going to follow the river down over to Murkwater Cave. Now, as you head down the river, if this is your first time in this location, you'll be raided by an NPC that's relatively easy to take down. You'll get a nice little dagger. If you don't want to bother fighting that NPC, you don't have to. You can just run inside of the cave, and then you can synchronize with the point of grace that is down here. Once you've got this point of grace, you're going to run down this tunnel, and then you're going to pass all of these dudes. You can fight or kill them or just run past them, and you're going to head over into here. This is where you're going to encounter Patches for the first time. Now, Patches, you're going to have to make sure that you let Patches live. We're going to need this NPC to unlock some pretty cool items, so make sure that you let Patches live. Now, if you're coming back here in the future to buy this and Patches is no longer here, later in the game you can find him over in the north after you defeat Margit. He's going to be hanging out at the Scenic Isle. Now, if you had to go to Scenic Isle for this, Patches will be hanging out right next to the campfire. And if we talk to Patches, the thing we're going to need to purchase, well, he'll have a couple gold pickled fowl feet for sale here. I'll have like 3 of them, but I've already purchased those. What we want to buy is the Missionary's Cookbook 2. Once you have acquired the cookbook, we can go into our inventory and we'll be able to craft these items out in the field. And if you go over, you can see the gold pickled fowl foot requires a roa fruit, 4-toed fowl feet, and golden fireflies. Now we're going to go over how to easily farm up all of these items. Now, to farm up these materials, it's going to be easier if we have a crossbow. So I'm going to be showing you how to get a free crossbow here inside of the Table of the Lost Grace. Now, this will require a stone sword key. So if you don't have a stone sword key, then you can buy one from the twin-headed maidens that are in here, or you can find them for free in the world. But what we're going to do is we're going to run past the blacksmith. We're going to head down these stairs, and we're going to look for the imp that we need to stick this key inside of. There for a second, but we'll just stick the key inside of here. And then in this room, in this chest, is going to be a crossbow. The Crepus Black Key crossbow. And we get some bolts, which is nice. Now from there, we need to go to the southern end of this map. You can start off at the Lake South Grace Point. You're going to run down the road through the Bridge of Sacrifice, just keep plowing through it, and pick up the Lost Grace sites along the way. You're going to follow this road, and at this fork, you're going to go up through the woods. You're going to cross this bridge right here and keep running along the edge of this cliff until you get to the Church of Pilgrimage. Get that Lost Grace site and pick up the item that's there to upgrade your flasks. Then head south down over to the Church of Marika, where you can get another item for your flasks, and this is where we're going to need to be to start off farming the first item that we need. From that church, we need to run around the back, and then we're going to circle around on the beach, because there's going to be some birds on this beach that we need to shoot and kill to farm up their feet. Now, this is what the crossbow was for. Now, if you hit both right trigger and triangle at the same time, you're going to equip your crossbow in both hands, and this will allow you to zoom in and be able to shoot your crossbow. And we're just going to take all these birds out from a distance so we can farm up their feet. Now, you're not going to get one every single time you kill one of these birds, but it should be a pretty decent return, so just farm up as many of these feet as your heart desires. Alternatively, if you don't feel like using the bow, you can just sneak up on them, but when you slash them, it's going to cause a lot of the other ones to fly away. So it's less effective, but you don't need the crossbow for it. There are also the birds that are in the water, and those, for some strange reason, won't fly away when you murder their friends, which is a little weird, but I'm not complaining. Once you've had enough of farming up feet, you can fast travel back to the 4th Church of Marika, and you can kind of head down to this location. There's a grace point right here that you can get, and then we're going to be farming up this little pond right here. Now this pond has all of the fireflies in it that we need as our other main ingredient, and you can collect a bunch of these just by running around in here. Don't fight the big tentacle monster if you don't want to. You can just grab the golden fireflies and wham bam, thank you ma'am, you're done. You can just fast travel back to a site of grace and they will reload, as well as the birds. Now the third piece of this is the fruit. There's plenty of fruit literally all over the map. Like that's the row of fruit right there. So you can find those pretty much anywhere. And in this, oh my god, no. Once you have all the ingredients at any point in time, you can just go into your inventory and craft as many of these bad boys as you want. Now for the best part. We're going to unlock the golden Scarab Talisman, which is going to boost the amount of runes that you get by 20%. Now to be able to do this, we're going to need to go into Kaled, at least I think that's how that's pronounced, and we're going to go to the Smoldering Wall grace site, and to get here you just kind of run along this road and run all the way down to here until you get to this particular spot. Now from this site of grace, we can hop on our mount, and we're going to kind of run in the same direction as that tree. Now we're going to avoid that dog on the ground here because we got to like precariously jump to a secret cave that's in the wall of this little like gorge or canyon, whatever you want to call it. We can go down along this edge here and we should be able to see the cave that we need to jump to right on the other side. There it is. We're just gonna try and line up our unwieldy horse and jump right off this edge, double jump onto the ledge, and oh my god, I barely made it. But inside of here, we're gonna have to defeat a boss. There should be a site of grace for us to sync with. I know, I still call it sync. It's light or touch or fondle, I don't know. Now, I'm not gonna lie and say that this is gonna be easy. This little dungeon here can be particularly deadly. You can see where I just kind of died. There's rot down there, and we don't want that rot to cover our body. What we want to do is we want to do this little trick to backstep through it, which means you don't want to hit any directional buttons once you're down there. You want to face your back to the safe spot, and you want to just keep tapping circle or whatever that button is on your controller to dodge backwards. So we're going to try and time this the best we can. Once that rot explodes, we're going to want to time our jump with like the very end of it. We're going to turn around and we're going to kind of do this little backpedal thing out of there, hopefully before it explodes, and that way we don't get rot on us. It's going to take probably a little bit of practice to get it right. We're going to wait for this to diminish before we continue on. Now, once your rot is gone, we're just going to try and hop through this without touching the rot anymore. And we're just going to continue running through this dungeon to where the boss fight's going to be. We're going to turn right here. We're going to wait for this to explode. And then we're going to jump down into that cave on the other side, avoiding the thing that's going to... Well, we landed right on its head, so that works out pretty well. And we're going to run through this way, avoiding everything that we can. Going to avoid that guy. Hopefully we don't get hit by the poison. And we're going to run through to the right of more. And we want to make sure we avoid any potential rot along the way. There we go. Going to avoid this rot right here. And then there's going to be two guys up here that are going to launch poison at you, which is bad. I was really hoping to avoid that. Don't get hit by it again. And inside of here is going to be where the boss fight is. Now, the goal is to do this without taking damage. Unfortunately, I did, but maybe you'll do better. And then this guy spawns from over here. I'm hoping that other dog will be able to help distract a little bit. Oh, how did I get Scarlet Rot? Oh, did I miss? Oh, we got it. Boom! Let's go, baby! The Golden Scarab. That worked out so much better. The dogs were the right choice. Now that we can make the Golden Pickled Fowl Feet and we have the Golden Scarab Talisman, we can go to the best farming spot currently available in the early game of Elden Ring. And if you're unfamiliar with this location, there's a couple different ways to get there. You can run from the start and go across this road and just kind of follow this path all the way over until you get to this location right over here, which is Lenny's Rise, or Lene. I don't know how to pronounce it. Or you can take the shortcut if you followed our previous farming videos by taking the teleport that is just behind the third church of Marika. And there's a little like teleportation device that's right here, and that's going to take you all the way over here to where you can get the Farum Great Bridge, and then you can run down the back across this bridge and be able to get to this point right here as well. So there's a couple different ways to get here. But essentially, if you haven't seen this farming location, what you're going to want to do is make sure that you have your talisman equipped so we can increase the runes obtained from defeating enemies. And then we are going to go into our inventory and we're going to continuously pop these gold pickled fowl feet. Now, you cannot fast travel with the gold pickle fowl feet equipped or used because they will become, they'll basically just, they'll debuff. They'll not be buffed on you anymore if you fast traveled. It's early and my brain's not working. But what you got to do is you got to run down this pathway and then dodge the ball perfectly so that it falls off this cliff. Now, traditionally, you get around 1900 XP, but with both of these, you get 3000 XP per run. Now, we're going to be doing this by running back to this particular spot rather than fast traveling to it. And what we do is we sit at the Site of Grace. And then once we sit at the Site of Grace, then if the game ever freaking loads, we can stand back up. And this will respawn this particular enemy. And we can run back and forth and do this as much as we want. Make sure you hit the speed up button on your horse when you're doing this. And right about here is where you're going to want to turn around. You're going to look at the ball. You're going to dodge it and look at it as it falls off the cliff. As long as you do that, you'll get the XP every time. Make sure to be sprinting on Torrent or you're not going to be able to do this very quickly. But as long as you're sprinting, you should be good. Make sure to jump off by pressing in on L3 and then rest at the Site of Grace. Now you can do this as much as you want. With this method, you'll only be able to get about 2 or 3 runs per minute, probably on average 2 with the time it takes to sit at the Site of Grace. But as long as you look at the ball and watch it roll off, sometimes you'll kill that little deer thing that's there as well. Now, you don't have to sit there and wait as long for the ball to fall off, but as long as you're just watching it fall off the cliff, you should be good. Now, this farming spot, depending on how much you're willing to grind, will only really be super effective until you're about in your level 70s. After that, it's still going to be one of the best ways to level up until you get a lot farther in the game. It's just going to take longer to level because about in your 70s, it takes 30,000 XP per level. This is still the fastest way until you can get into the depths. Now, I highly recommend doing this the most at nighttime, because if you do it at night, you have a chance of spawning one of these balls that are going to give 9,000 XP rather than 3, because this ball actually counts as an enemy, so when you dodge it, it counts as that. Now, you get about 2,300 XP with just the Scarab equipped, so if you'd rather do it by fast traveling back and forth, the Scarab will give you a 20% rune boost. I know I keep calling it XP rather than runes, but I don't know. I've played games, 30 years, and it's always been called XP, so that's just what it is. Now, if you decide to do the fast traveling method rather than running back and forth, because you might have, faster loading times, then what I recommend doing is when you open up your menu right when it goes off the edge, hit triangle and then X a bunch, and you'll be able to fast travel to the closest one very quickly, and that can help you speed up your traveling time considerably. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, you'll be able to use both of these items for any future farming method to boost your rune gathering capabilities by 50%, which is freaking phenomenal. Thank you all so much for hanging out, and I'll see you all in the next one.